Good morning everyone, a very warm welcome to my channel. I hope you are all really well. Today I thought I would sit down and just do a 1 week catch up following my diagnosis of breast cancer. If this is the first time that you've seen me, hello and welcome. My name is Leanne, I am 40 years old, I'm a mum of 2 boys, they are 5 and 7. And I have been creating content on YouTube for about a year, just over a year, and documenting my weight loss journey, which I started in March following Slimming World. And I have, up to today, I have lost 4 stone 11 pounds. I'll pop that on the screen. If you don't work in stones, I'll pop it in pounds. And so, yeah, that's what I've been creating content on. And then 1 week ago, so lost with dates. 1 week ago, I received my diagnosis of breast cancer. I did do a diagnosis video, which I will link in the description box below if you haven't seen it and you would like to catch up on that. For a start, that video has had over 20,000 views since I put it up on Monday. Did I put it up? Yes, I put it up on Monday. So in the last 4 days. And my goodness, the messages that I have had hundreds of messages, and I'm blown away. I really am. So it means so much, honestly. I have managed to reply to all of the messages up until last night, and I've woken up this morning with a whole load more, which is amazing. I did actually put another video out last night, a little vlog of what I've been eating, so I do have some more to catch up on, but thank you. I honestly, I cannot thank you enough for the support. It really has touched me in so many ways. So we're 1 week on now, and I've had a few questions and I'm going to answer them in this video. How am I feeling? Okay, so let's start off with the action that I've taken. So I have decided to overhaul my lifestyle. This isn't too drastic for me because obviously I've been following Slimming World and trying to improve my health for most of the year. So it's not like I've gone from being super unhealthy to mega healthy. It's not that kind of transition. But I have made some quite significant changes. So the first one is the way I eat. So I am doing intermittent fasting. I've made that sound quite complicated. Essentially, we always have our evening meal early anyway. So we've always finished eating by about 6 o'clock. So I stop eating at 6 and then I start eating again at 10 the next morning. And that gives me 16 hours fasting, and that's working really well for me. I'm waking up not hungry, and yeah, I feel like it's actually really helped to control my mood as well. I don't feel like I'm up and down at all. I just feel like calm, on a level. The reason I'm doing this is because I've read so much research about how good it is for you, and I feel like it's something positive that I can do to give my body a chance to just heal, repair, fight whatever it is that needs to be fought in my body. And yeah, I feel like just giving it a break from food for a really good chunk of time is beneficial for me. Please don't take dietary advice from me. I am not qualified in the slightest. I'm just doing what I feel is right for me. And yeah, that is something that has been working well for me. I feel like if I eat too regularly, I'm always hungry. Whereas when I fast, I don't feel as hungry. And then when I do open my eating window, I hear this so much. That is what it's called, my eating window. I'm following Slimming World. So I'm following the normal Slimming World plan, but I'm spending my sins on healthy fats instead of sugary treats or, you know, whatever. I've just decided to cut out as much sugar as I can from my diet. So that's the second change I've made. I haven't been eating any refined sugary treats or chocolate bars or just anything that I was eating. I've cut out the Coke or the Diet Coke. I've cut out the sweetener syrup from my coffee. So I was having the sugar-free, sin-free skinny syrups from TK Maxx. I've cut those out. I've really cut back. So obviously there is added sugar into my food because, you know, I'm not eating a completely whole food diet. I just don't think that's practical for me. You know, I've got a family. It's just, if it was just me, then yeah, I could probably do it. But so there's obviously added sugar in things like baked beans, which to be fair, I don't really eat anyway. And I'm sure there's probably some in chopped tomatoes, passata, that kind of thing. I don't know. But I've cut out the kind of like refined sugary treats, basically. I don't eat bread anyway. And, you know, like the white pasta and what else have I cut out? The white rice and things like that. I'm just not eating it. I've eaten a little bit of whole wheat carbohydrate, and yeah, that's kind of the biggest changes that I've made this week, the fasting and the sugar. I've also decided to make sure that I have a few minutes of time to myself every day to get myself organised and settled. So by that I mean night times can be quite hectic in our house because bedtime for the boys does take a long time. It does take about an hour and a half, and by the time it's done, it's quite late. And sometimes, I'll be honest, I can't be bothered to sort myself out, and I'll leave it till the next day, and then I'm racing around trying to get everything done. So I've just made sure this week that I've taken 10 minutes to do my skincare, and you know, it's something so simple but makes such a difference to how you feel. I have some face masks in the fridge from Tropic Skincare, and I love them, and I haven't used them for ages because I always say I haven't got time, so I've made sure that I've done that. And yeah, I just feel like that's really helped. I make sure that I put something warm and cozy on. I know that sounds cliche, but you know, I have like a fleece that's really snuggly, and the weather's been atrocious. It's been, I mean, it's -3 at the moment, and you know, it's been atrocious. So just making sure that I've got some, you know, warm loungewear on, which I'm really grateful to be able to do given the cost of living crisis and everything. And you know, it's just like, girls, you'll understand this. We're like, our day goes on and it's really late, and then we go, I need to wash my hair. I just can't be bothered to do it tonight. I'll do it tomorrow. Well, no, I have stopped that, and I make sure if my hair needs to be washed, I wash it. And I go to bed just feeling, I just want to say like calm. I go to bed feeling calm, like, you know, I feel comfortable and warm, and yeah, I just feel calm. And I've been doing that every day, and it's really helped. I've dropped the stress, and I know I've made that sound really easy. And you know what? It was really easy to drop the stress. I am a very highly stressed person. I thrive off stress. I have a really hectic, busy job it is stressful. I do have a stressful job, and my home life is quite stressful. I love my children to absolute pieces, but they are boys, 2 years apart, and they fight a lot, and they need me a lot. You know, they're not particularly independent at the moment, and you know, I'm there for them 100%, but sometimes you feel like exhausted, and I would feel quite sort of stressed out by it. But you know, this week, every stressful situation I've encountered this week, I've just approached it and gone, it's fine, it's okay. I've just remained calm. Yeah, I've just gone, it's fine, we can deal with it. You know, it's not the end of the world, we can deal with it. And you know, I went through our finances and made sure that the budget was in order. You know, I received an email from my energy supplier the day before yesterday to say your bills are going up. And you know, I've just like, it's fine, we'll just sit down, we'll write it down, we'll work out, you know, what we need to cut out of our expenditure to, you know, cover it, and where we need to make changes. And you know, it's just, I'm just not going to stress about it, because stress has such a negative impact on our bodies. I had no idea until I started researching how bad it is for us, and especially for our health and our weight. And yeah, so I've de-stressed. I've really let go of a lot of things, and it actually feels like a weight has just like flown away, like a really heavy balloon has just floated off. I know this sounds ridiculous, but honestly, 1 week on from my diagnosis, and I feel so much of a better person than I did. So they are the main changes that I've made to my lifestyle. I was considering taking some supplements. You will know if you watched my diagnosis video that I was considering like garlic capsules, turmeric, all sorts of things. I have made a decision not to do that. I feel like taking anything in a high quantity without a complete understanding of what it will do to me is probably not sensible. So I am going to just continue taking vitamin D, but just get a slightly better quality supplement. I'm going to be taking the probiotics. Basically, I drink Yakult, and I'm just going to carry on with that. And iron, because I am prescribed that. I do have low iron always, so I just take it all the time. So yeah, I am just going to eat a very, very healthy diet and just hope that I can get all of the vitamins and nutrients that I need. So when I open my fasting window, when I open my eating window, I have a really good meal. So I will have some protein, usually from eggs. I will, and I've bought some really good quality local eggs as well. I pack in fruit and vegetables galore in my meals because I want to make sure I'm getting a variety. I'm not focusing on one specific type of vegetable. I'm just trying to get a variety of colours. So yeah, that's how I've decided to approach the supplement or non-supplement as it's going to be for me. I just think I don't know enough, and I don't think anyone actually knows enough, and anyone can advise you what they think you should take, but no one actually knows. And yeah, my cancer is hormone positive, so I also want to be careful around like not encouraging additional hormones. I think that actually I've got my book here because I did have some questions around my cancer. So when you are diagnosed, I presume this is the same for all areas. You get a folder and it's full of information about your cancer, or it's full of information about, in my case, about my cancer. It tells me who the consultants are, who the, it tells me everything. And it has a section on here. I can't show you because this really identifies me, but I have a section in this folder about my cancer. So for anyone who has asked, I'm very happy to share because it may relate to someone who's going through it. But basically it says that the type of breast cancer that I have is ductal, so it's in the milk ducts. The provisional grade is 1 and it's 6 millimeters. It has a section here, it says lymph nodes, and it says needs ultrasound, which is booked for next week. And then it says about the receptors. So it says estrogen positive, progesterone positive, HER2 negative. So that is the information around my specific biopsy results. And they are provisional results. So it says these are provisional results and may change when results are available after your operation. So yeah, I really hope that they are my final results as well, because they are actually in the scheme of things, they are good results. It's small, it's low grade, it's in the duct, which actually I understand from very limited research that I've done that ductal cancer is easier to recover from. And so fingers tightly crossed that is the case for me. And I'm only going to find that out after my surgery. I'll be given an outpatient's appointment and I go back and they'll give me all the results then. So yeah, so 1 week on, I have made a lot of changes to positively benefit me. How am I feeling? So, well, I feel good, you know. So I'm going to very briefly just describe the roller coaster, because if anyone is going through this, I do think that this may help. So I was diagnosed on a Thursday, really late in the day, came out of the hospital at 5 o'clock. I went to my Slimming World group that evening at 7:15, and I gave my consultant the heads up. She knew about my diagnosis. I told her I didn't want to take part in image therapy. I just wanted to sit and just be around people, but I didn't want to have to talk in front of anyone, because I mentally wasn't in a headspace where I could. If I talked to anyone, I would probably have cried. And, you know, I did actually cry on the way there, because I travel with my neighbour. She lives literally opposite, and we both go to the same group. And she drove, and I did break down to her. But actually at group I was okay. I felt almost like I wasn't there, to be honest, because I had a lot of tears. When you've had a lot of tears and you feel tired, you do feel like a bit sort of removed, don't you? And that's kind of how I felt. I felt removed. But it did me good being around people. I made a decision to tell everyone that I was close to, in contact with, you know, friends, family, as soon as, including some of my very close work colleagues. I made that decision because I really don't think it would have been a good decision for me to keep it in and try and hide it. I made that decision, and I'm really pleased I did. So I shared that news gradually over Thursday evening and during the day on Friday. I woke up Friday morning feeling very emotional. I woke up in tears, and yeah, I wasn't feeling great. I'd had a terrible night's sleep, and yeah, I wasn't feeling good Friday morning. Luckily, my husband and I had both got the day off work to do Christmas shopping, and so he was here to support me, and he, you know, he's been fantastic, to be honest. I couldn't do it without him. And we had a really nice day out shopping, and as the day went on, I was distracted. I was having a nice time. I felt better. And the Friday evening was, it was quite lucky actually, because my son goes to Beavers, and they were doing a Christmas treat at the climbing centre nearby. So I took him there, and the cafe was remaining open late for us. So I took my mum with us, and we sat and had a coffee and a chat. And so that was really nice evening. The weekend, so Saturday I woke up feeling better but still emotional. I did have a few tears again when I woke up Saturday morning. I was still working through the process of telling everybody throughout that morning. Then come the afternoon, I just felt like I wanted to forget about it. In honesty, I wanted to just forget about it and just go back to normal. I wanted it to all just go away. So my husband and I and the kids, we went to Tesco's. We bought some of our favourite foods. I got a bottle of wine. We literally came home, shut ourselves away. It was freezing cold anyway, and we watched Polar Express. I had a hot chocolate and I had some wine. I ate bad food. I just enjoyed my Saturday, and that was what I wanted to do. And you know what? It really made me feel better. I must say that I physically didn't feel good for it, because, you know, it's not something that I regularly do, blow out like that. And I don't, you know, it didn't make me feel good, but I enjoyed it and I had no regrets. And Sunday, I woke up feeling a lot better. My lovely friend came round to see me, and we had a good old chat. And yeah, as Sunday went on, I really started to feel better. I was tired because I hadn't had a great night's sleep, because I'd had alcohol and, you know, lots of sugar and stuff. But in my head, I felt a lot better. So come Monday, I felt much better. So I woke up Monday, I didn't have any tears. I felt stronger. I felt ready to make the positive changes that I'd planned to make. And yeah, that was kind of Monday's goal. I filmed my cancer diagnosis video on Monday, and I also vlogged. So that vlog went out. It's just a little what I eat in a day. Actually, a lot of it is less about what I'm eating and more about me waffling on. But I I filmed that, and honestly, the rest of the week has been fairly normal. Is my ankle clicking again? Sorry about that. I do feel like I have been fairly normal. I've gone back, I haven't had any time off sick from work. I just don't think it will help me. I went back to work in the office, was around everyone, people close to me knew, so I could talk openly. And yeah, I have had a really positive week. I've made these changes to my lifestyle. I've talked to people, I've let people in. I've had wobbles, don't get me wrong. I've had moments where the surgery has crept into my head. This morning I woke up and I had a little bit of a wobble, probably the biggest wobble I've had since last weekend, where I kind of thought, oh, I've got cancer and I'm probably in my head, I feel like I've got it now. It's never going to, it will come back at some point. And I can't help but think like that. Like, so am I tackling this positively? Yes. I am taking positive action, and I am transforming my lifestyle to deal with this as healthily and positively as I can. Do I feel positive about it? No, I don't. People say, you've got to think positive, I can't think this is all going to be okay. My brain won't let me. Of course, my brain has areas where it's saying, you have cancer, it's gonna come back. Even if they get rid of it, it's gonna come back. You're only 40. Within the next 10 years, will you still be here? Will I still, all of these thoughts, I can't push them out of my head. I just can't do it. But I am putting them in a pocket, if you like, and I'm just like, go away. I'm working through each thought that comes into my head as it happens, rather than just keep thinking about it. Because it's not doing me any good. It's not, I didn't feel good waking up upset, and I knew I couldn't control that, and it was something I was going to have to work through. But I just know that I want to feel happy and calm, and so I need to push those thoughts out of my head, and that's what I'm doing. So I am acting positively. I don't think positively about it, if that makes any sense. It probably doesn't. But yeah, I just want to focus on taking positive action to look after my own health. And so that's my goal, really. So what's happened this week in terms of medically, I guess? Well, I have been contacted by the imaging people to book me in for a ultrasound of my lymph nodes. So I'm booked in for that in a few days' time. On the same day, I'm also booked in for a skin markup. I don't really know what that is. I've got an idea what it is. But I am not looking into it too much. I'm just, I'll just turn up and they can do what they need to do. Then the next day, I'm actually booked in for my pre-op. So it's moved quick. Within a week of being diagnosed, I have my appointments all scheduled, and then I think that's it until my surgery. So what is nice is that I can have Christmas and New Year peaceful, without having to keep going to the hospital. That's how I think anyway. I mean, I know sometimes last minute appointments do happen to crop up, but I think that's all I need. And I also just want to touch on like my thoughts around comments from people sort of saying, how awful it is that it took so long to be diagnosed and things, and I totally agree. And like I said in my diagnosis video, when I first got told, I did feel some anger about it. But what I do want to say is everybody knows how jam-packed the hospitals are and the doctor surgeries are, and they're under so much pressure. When I was going for my first appointments about this lump 2.5 years ago, it was right in the middle of COVID restrictions, and they were under more pressure than ever, I guess. Had I been diagnosed with my breast cancer in 2020, I would have felt quite alone as well. We couldn't see anybody. We couldn't be accompanied at the hospital. And since my diagnosis, they've been fantastic. In fact, since I had my mammogram and they saw the lump on the mammogram and they thought, hang on, there is something there. every test I've had, just everything, they have been amazing. They've been interested, they've shown me compassion, they've they've been amazing, and they've worked at speed as well. 2 weeks ago today, in fact, I went to the hospital and told them about this lump. Yes, the doctor that I saw there was quite dismissive of me and didn't make me feel good. However, when he sent me down for scans, and after my scan, everything changed. And within those 2 weeks, I've been diagnosed, I've got my surgery booked, I've got my lymph node scan booked, I've got my pre-op booked. I cannot fault them. They've been amazing. They've worked at speed, and yeah, so I have mixed views. Obviously, I guess part of me does feel quite nervous about the fact that I've had it for so long. And I do have a pain in my knee. So I've had a pain in my knee for a few months. And obviously in the back of my mind, I'm worried that is another, something's gone wrong. But I do feel like, it happens when it happens for a reason. And maybe had I been diagnosed back then, I would have felt a lot worse. I would have felt isolated. I would have felt alone, just because of the COVID restrictions. So I don't know, I'm just trying to take the best from it. On that note, I think I'm gonna end this video. I think this is quite a long one. My clock is saying nearly half an hour. Obviously I'm gonna edit a few bits out, but yeah, I just thought this might help someone who's going through it, or if you know someone close to you who's going through it. My advice is, do you know what, right? My husband keeps saying it'll be okay, it'll be fine. And I'm like, be real about it. It might not be. Like, I don't want to think negatively about it. That's the last thing that I want to do, but I want to be balanced. And what helps me more is people saying, I'm there for you, whatever happens, whatever the outcome, we'll do this together. Or, if my friends have been, I've had some insane messages from my friends offering me so much help with things. And, the practical kind of side of it aside, just them saying, I can't control this, I can't take this away, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm there for you. And that actually helps me more than someone saying it's all going to be okay, because I don't know it's going to be okay. And I like to be balanced about things. Like when I came back from the hospital and told my husband I'd had a biopsy, and he was like, oh, it'll be fine. I was like, but you don't know it'll be fine. Like, the fact of the matter is there's a lump, and it's either going to be cancer or it isn't. And I can't sit there and say, yeah, it's going to be fine, because, and it wasn't fine. And as it turned out, I know these things come from a really good place, but just, yeah, I think that if you're supporting someone going through it, just let them know that you're there. Whatever happens, you're there, and it means the world. It really does. And thank you again to all of you for your beautiful messages. I've got Instagram messages coming through all the time, emails. I've had so many comments on my diagnosis video, which have just blown me away, and it really means the world. So thank you again so much. I hope you are all really well, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.